Hi there everyone, it's Anthony and I'm like so excited right now. I'm about to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm about to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I've seen the show already. It's actually probably my favorite show of all time. So, since I still wanted to react to it, I decided I would bring along my good friend or bad friend, you know. No, I'm just playing. But I figured I would bring on my good friend Kylan. So, Kylan, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Kylan has actually never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce him to one of the best things in the world, in my opinion. What do you know about Buffy already at this point?
Well, I know that Buffy is a vampire slayer, or maybe she's a vampire, I'm not sure. My grandparents and my aunt are really into the show. I know that David Boreanaz is in it, and that's about it.
All right, cool. So you're coming at it with a pretty clean slate. That's exciting. So I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I will just, if there's anything that I feel like might help, add to your understanding of what's going on and just making sure you're not going too far off the wrong path of understanding something. I'll provide insight and a different perspective as somebody that has seen this whole series and most of it multiple times, especially these first few episodes. I've read the scripts for them and everything, so I know them pretty well. But yeah, let's get into it. This is Welcome to the Hellmouth, the first episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
In every generation, there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer.
What was that?
It was what?
I heard a noise.
It's nothing.
Maybe it's something. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
It's a really big plot twist, because I thought, not plot twist, but I definitely thought he was a vampire.
Right, yeah, exactly. I guess that's what they were going for. I don't know. I always thought that was a cool little twist right there.
When was it made?
The first season came out in 1997. I believe March 1997 is when this episode aired. And oftentimes people do consider the first season kind of campy, cheesy or whatnot, but it's still cool though. It's still really good. But it definitely has that really kind of 90s vibe to it, but I think it works.
Okay, I see what you mean.
As the show goes on, it starts to kind of grow beyond that. Cue the classic 90s high school establishing shot with all this stuff that I have never actually seen in high school. Like, I used to actually think high schools were going to look like this. They never did.
I know you're gonna make. Wasn't that bad?
You burned down the gym.
I did. I really did. But you're not seeing the big picture here. I mean, that gym was full of vampire asbestos.
Hey, you forgot your steak.
What the principal was referring to in that scene before was actually what took place in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. So everything that happened in this TV show, for the most part, is supposed to, in canon, follow what happened in the movie. They kind of retconned some stuff, but yeah. So the movie came out in '92, and then they actually made the TV show in '97, and it much more followed what Joss Whedon's original vision was, because the movie was a lot more like, watered down. Not really truly like kind of horror, kind of corny, not as well written, or at least not as well executed. So the TV show was a much better representation of what Joss Whedon intended for it to be when he wrote it. So that's just a little more background.
Hi, I'm Cordelia. I'm Buffy. So, I'm gonna need perspectives on 20th century.
The new kid? She seems kind of weird to me. What kind of name is Buffy? Hey, after these yet? Oh, hey! I'm Evelyn Blue, and she said it's...
That's what she did with the body.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just stuffed him in a locker. I love that little joke right before that where she's like, what kind of name is Buffy? And then somebody walks by and is like, hey, aphrodisiac, or whatever they say. It's a lot of little small things like that in here. I feel like that just really like spruce up the dialogue and the writing on this show.
Willow, right?
Why? I mean, hi. Did you want me to move?
No, actually, it was for self-defense. Everyone has them in LA. Pepper spray is just so passé.
So what do you do for fun? What do you like? What do you look for in a man? Let's hear it.
Such a
If you
terrible
have any
excuse.
dark, painful
Right.
secrets you'd like us to publish.
How did he die?
I don't know.
Well, were there any marks?
Morbid much? I didn't ask.
I didn't think there'd be vampires on campus, and I don't care.
And why are you here?
To tell you that I don't care, which I don't, and have now told you. So,
Very convincing.
bye.
Succubi, everything you've ever
What was his point in stacking all those books in her hand?
They're all real.
What?
Wow.
Getting worse.
What's... Oh, come on. This is Sunnydale. How bad and evil can there be here?
But that is all behind us now.
It is. From now on, I'm only going to hang out with the living. I mean, lively.
Yeah, her mom has no idea she's a Slayer.
So no one knows.
Yeah, very, like, I don't think anybody else in this town knows other than her and Giles. And of course, Xander overheard a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there a problem, ma'am?
Yeah, there's a problem.
That's Boreanaz right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kill them all. You've got to be ready
What for?
for the harvest.
Who are you?
Let's just say I'm a friend. I didn't say I was yours.
I just muted Kyland again, and I'm assuming that anybody watching this already knows what happens. But why was Angel just acting all suspicious and secretive and mysterious?
I didn't say I was yours.
Like, I mean, come on, man. So overly dramatic for no reason. Why was she so excited that a stranger was waving at her?
Really?
Hey!
I'll be
Giles
back in a
does
minute.
not fit in there
Oh,
at
that's
all.
okay. You don't have to come back.
Listen, want to dance?
With you?
Well, yeah.
Well, no.
Where?
Right there, talking to that girl.
You don't know.
Oh, please. Look at his jacket. He's got the sleeves rolled up. And the shirt? Deal with that outfit for a moment.
Isn't that...
Willow.
What's she doing?
Seizing the moment.
So she just wasn't gonna care about the girl if it wasn't Willow?
Cordelia! God! What is your childhood trauma?
So, what did you say your name was?
Darla.
Darla. You know, I haven't seen you around before. Are you from around here?
I don't see why she thinks that could possibly be a good idea.
Hey, you're leaving
Seriously.
already?
Oh, Xander, have you...
Hey, I hope he's not a vampire because then you might have to slay him.
Was there a school bulletin? Was it in the newspaper? Is there anyone in this town who doesn't know?
The irony is crazy.
I only know that you think that you're the slayer.
Oh my God, Jesse!
Yo, that guy, he was a titular character.
Violence, strong language, adult content.
I love how you always know when they're about to get dusted because it turns to a tripod shot.
Wow.
You're wasting my time.
Yeah, unfortunate
Hey,
situation.
I
right
had
now.
other plans too, okay?
Idea what you're dealing with.
That looks like that really hurt.
And like
Yeah,
a
it
plague
did.
of boils. Amen.
All right, that's the first episode. It's actually I believe when this first aired, it was a two-parter. Like they aired them like both back to back, so that's why they did a to be continued. So it wasn't even really to be continued because it was about to just continue in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the first episode.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's really witty. A lot of nice little quips in there.
I think as it goes on, it definitely starts to develop its own like kind of language in a way. Like I think it's called Buffy speak. So that's kind of fun to look out for. Like it's kind of its own whole cultural way of speaking and whatnot that just exists solely in the show that like I think a lot of the fan base has even picked up and stuff. And it's something I think Joss Whedon was very intentional about doing. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's definitely very like everything. I was reading some Buffy scripts one time, and one thing I noticed, like the script is practically word for word what they're saying on the show. Like I mean, and some of the scripts there were some scenes changed, so I know that it wasn't like a script made after the show. It was like the actual shooting script that they shot with, and it's like the way they talk is exactly how it was written down in the scripts most of the time, which oftentimes isn't the case because, you know, like it might just be a tiny little bit of improvisation there, or like, you know, the actors might just be slightly changing it to make it sound more natural, but it's like the way they speak is exactly how it's written.
I was gonna say I thought it was pretty interesting. I think their vampires are really ugly looking. That's one thing that stuck out to me. It's how ugly the vampires looked. And then it's not really predictable, and the characters don't seem cheesy to me, really, or campy, like you were saying. They seem kind of like almost like borderline coming of age, you know. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I know what you mean. I think that's what makes it still work so well. It's just the fact that the characters are so good, even in the first season, which I think most of the campiness and everything kind of comes more so from just, you know, the way it's shot, the way people are dressed, the way everything kind of just looks and feels. But I think that the characters themselves and the way they interact with each other and the things that happen still hold up really well today. And one thing about Buffy is like it was one of the first shows like this, so like a lot of the stuff that they do on Buffy has now been done a million times. So when you go back and look at it, it feels cliche when actually it was really like innovative at the time.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. There's like another version of this pilot episode that they filmed before this that had a few different actors and actresses. Like Willow was played by a different person, but they ended up switching her to Allison Hannigan. I believe it was because she played Willow with hope. And like even though she was kind of, you know, nerdy and pitiful in a way, she still added a lot of hope to the character and optimism, whereas the other person like just played her like a really kind of pathetic kind of person. So I know when it's like your first time watching a TV show, it's hard to like take everything in, all the characters in at once. Like usually for me with TV shows, I don't really remember the characters until I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in at least. But were there any characters that jumped out at you specifically or that like you found most memorable?
Cordelia. A typical mean girl, you know. But also she reminds me of a mean girl from the movie Mean Girls, even though like I guess Mean Girls is like the staple mean girl movie for like high school, i.e. the title Mean Girls. But I said other than Cordelia, like I think Willow is pretty cool. Jesse, I like Jesse too. I liked his optimism for trying to get Cordelia even after she clearly didn't like him. But I'm kind of disappointed to see. I bet you he's probably going to be the one of them turn into a vampire.
Oh, you think so?
That's what my guess is. Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, yeah, since he got bit and everything. Because at the end, I don't even think they show what happens with all of them, right? Just there when, like, Jesse and Willow and Xander were walking out of the, whatever that place is, and they got
surrounded by vampires.
Yeah, they didn't even, that's just where it left off with them. So, well, all right, everybody, that's the reaction for the first episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Be on the lookout for more. You know, I love this show, so I'm definitely going to be doing more of this. But yeah, thank you, Kylan, for watching along with me. I hope that I'm looking forward to seeing you kind of watch the show and see the characters grow and progress as well. So I think this should be fun. So until next time, everybody, you know, if you want to, you can like the video, or you can comment.
Hey, you're not forced to like or subscribe.
Yeah, don't ever feel pressured into doing anything you don't want to do in life. That's not cool, okay? But I'm just throwing it out there if you want to do any of that. So yeah, goodbye.